Hey everybody, Steve here, and let's take a look at all the stories we're following from the AFR News Desk for January 27th, 2015. So we've survived the blizzard of 2015 here in Walpole, Massachusetts. We got probably about 20 inches of snow, but the power stayed on, so we were able to stay warm inside, and the kids got to go sliding down our driveway because there was no school today and no school tomorrow, so definitely looking forward to some more fun with the kids. But let's get right on to the sports board game news. Starting off with our lead story, and that comes from over the Hoops Pro Basketball Game is now out in print. Earlier this week, the designers announced that you can now head over to the ASG Games page and order the game and any of the seasons in print version. So if you've been holding off on purchasing that game for the print version, now's your chance to head on out and get it. In other news, over at Play.com, they've finished sending out all the pre-orders for their new second season update. As I mentioned here on the channel before, the new game comes with several innovations that'll help speed up the play. I was actually able to get through a pre-play of the Super Bowl with the new components, and I'll detail what happened later in the show. But it really was a faster experience with those new components, especially the instant results deck. I think people are going to find that's a really great addition to the game. The general release for that is February 2nd, so if you missed out on the pre-order, you just have a few more days before you can pick that up. Last week in the show, I mentioned that Al Wilson had done an unbagging video for that second season football game, and he's now actually turned that into a full-fledged YouTube channel called Hands On Games. Al, the channel looks really great, and definitely love to see more coverage of the sports board games, and looking forward to all your coverage on other games as well. Make sure you check out that channel. I'll post links to that below. And finally in the news, Digital Diamond Baseball released their version 5.0 update recently. This has several new upgrades from the last version. For a full list of what the changes were, you can check out the links below to their forum page, and it details all of the version 5.0 update. And now let's take a look at new releases. First up, I wanted to mention a brand new game company that just released their first product, and it's called Fliip Football. And it's actually more of a casual game where each of the players has the same set of cards for offense and defense, and you'll pick one, you'll set the card down, and the defense will only see what package of personnel you have out. Then they'll put their defensive card down, you'll flip them over, and then you just follow the line to see what the result of the play was. So definitely something for people that are looking for just a quick casual two-player game, maybe something before the big game starts on television. You can head on over to the Fliip Football website, and I'll post links to that in the notes below. Inside Sports has released the 2014 season for their Scoreboard Baseball game. The 1971-72 NBA season is now out for regular season basketball. The 2013 European Tour Yearbook is out for Player of the Game Golf from Downey Games. And finally, there's another new free release for Quick Fixture Football. They've put out a set that has the final 32 teams from last year's World Cup. And now it's time for the question of the week. So last week on the show, I asked everybody who they had in the upcoming Super Bowl, and it was actually a split vote between Seattle and New England. And one person actually thought that it was going to be a blowout in New England's favor. And I have to say, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I still think that New England is going to win, and especially because of the injuries on the defensive side for Seattle. Now, earlier in the show, I mentioned that I pre-played the Super Bowl using second season football, and it actually was a 29-9 Seattle rout, and part of the reason for that was there were two big key interceptions in the game, and then also a strip sack, and Seattle was able to score off of all those turnovers. And I think that that would be really the difference in the game, in the real game, is Seattle's defense creating turnovers and then the offense having a short field to convert those into points. So we'll see what happens on the big game on Sunday. I'm still standing by my pick. I think New England's going to win 23-17. So this week for the question, this is actually a fan requested question, and that is, do you use any technology to play sports games head to head? With everyone now mostly having easy access to things like Skype and FaceTime, it's easier than ever to connect with friends and use technology to help you bridge the distance between you to play a game on your table. So I'm curious to see if anybody has actually tried that or if anyone does that on a regular basis. And I'd also like to know if there's anyone out there that has a regular gaming group where sports board games hit the table. Now, as for myself, I don't play head-to-head sports games at all, and one of the things that really attracted me to sports games was their ability to play them solo, just when you don't have any other gamers to play with. But I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say, and I'll highlight some of the comments on next week's show. And now it's time for channel updates. So this was another milestone week for the channel. We passed the 550 subscriber mark. We're actually up to 553 tonight. So again, thank you to everybody who's helped spread the word about the channel. Next week, I'm going to put out another segment for the board game breakfast, the AFR 2-minute drill. So look for that video on Monday, and then I'll be back with the news. The next review, I was going to put out a review for Hoops Tabletop Pro Basketball, but with their game being out now in print, I wanted to wait to actually receive the print copy of the cards, just so you could see a cleaner version instead of my printed out and then hand cut cards. So the next review I'll be doing will be Roller Rumble from Play.com, and look for that to be out hopefully tomorrow, and if not, definitely by the end of the weekend. And then the Hoops Tabletop Pro Basketball review should be out within the next week or so. Alright everybody, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. My name's Steve, and I'll see you next time after further review.